Hello, everybody. It is Romania Black, and we are on episode 77 of Natsume's Book of Friends, aka season 7, episode 3. I'm recording ahead, surprising no one. But after watching last week's episode, I was like, "Ooh, it was so good!" And I had time today, and I was like, "I just really want to watch. I want to watch Natsume's Book of Friends." So, thus, here we are. I don't have any comments to look over at this point. Although I will say I'm super excited to be diving into this week's episode, and I can't wait to see what it's going to give us. So, with that being said, since I have some time to talk to with you all before we start the episode, I want to give a quick shout out over to our Patreon, specifically our philanthropy tier. Everybody on Patreon supports me so much, no matter what tier you are in, and I am incredibly appreciative of all of that support. But I want to give a shout out to the philanthropy tier because that's a perk that they get for donating a little extra each month to help a girl along. So with that being said, I want to say thank you to Alex Cornejo, to Be Happy, to Bisa, to Alyssa, to Dana, to Damage3245, to Devorin, to Daniel, to Destiny Marie, to Danger Zone, like Kenny Loggins, like we gotta do, to Eric, to Ichu, to Fisho, Ghostly Turnip, El Freya, Lyndon, Liam Posel, Murphy, Mochi Coon, as well as Willie Morris, Translucent Men, Dawood Knight, Sunspots, and Shimoyama. Thank you all so much for your support. I greatly appreciate it. All of my love. That's what I got. So I normally have comments to look at, but I'm recording ahead because I just wanted to go ahead and watch this episode. So, and to be honest, there haven't been a lot of comments lately, although Sunspots is keeping me consistent along with a couple others on YouTube. So y'all are amazing. I love hearing anything you have to say about Natsume's Book of Friends. So if you are enjoying the reactions, if you're having fun, please let me know. I appreciate them. And we're on the last season till I'm caught up, and then it's going to be a hiatus until season 8. So we've just got to enjoy these episodes whilst we can, right? So with that being said, we're not going to waste any more time. We are going to dive right into season 7, episode 3 of Natsume's Book of Friends. And we are going to do that here in 3, 2, 1. And I'll see you all on the other side. I love this OP. That opening shot of Natsume on the bicycle, it's so good. It's just so good. Sometimes in the OPs, we think of, oh, we'll see this yokai this season. But at this point, we've seen so many yokai that it's like, well, we'll just see what we get. I have a little fuzzy thing for the mic. Like, if you all... It won't show you, but I have like a little fuzzy thing that goes on top of the microphone. I don't know if it amplifies or helps. I need to research that and see, like, will that help make it better? I don't know. Or will it muffle it? I don't know. Oh, bitch. I know it's probably Natsume that Reiko's reaching out to, but I just cannot help but think that it's the grandpa. And that makes me so excited. Oh. I just love everybody's different colored shoes and all of this. Oh, this is such a cute OP. I love it. Not accurate. Tanama would be up front. Tanama and Taki would probably switch places. TOOKANYA. Is this like a Babadook? Took? Fool of a took? Oh, hey, mid-ranks. Oh. Oh, they do consist of... Oh, are those exorcists? Oh. I thought I saw robes up ahead. Uh-huh. Okay. Oh. Oh no, they're not exorcists. They are, in fact, yokai. Scarecrows. Oh. But they look like people at first. Oh, Hey, look at there. There's a little raccoon. Interesting. I mean, what does Natsume notice that the yokai, the mid ranks, don't notice? Oh. Kakashi. I'm glad that we know what scarecrows are in Japanese. Kakashi. Oh, shit. Oh, it's a dream. Aww. His little pill bug walk. Yes. Of course not. Aw, there we go. Bribe him! Aw. Very well. Madara, you're getting easier to manipulate. Aw. Oh. Oh. TOOKANYA. TOOKANYA. As an exorcist sent them out? Yeah. Let's follow him. Ah, hey! Okay, Madara. Amasawa. Oh, yes, bitch. Where's the sparkles? Maybe Madara wanted them to go away so they wouldn't run into Natori. Ooh! Oh, I love the way they animated him there. Oh. Fair. You can't resist, though, can you? They're like, you told him anyway. Huh. Saw him on the telly. Oh, interesting. Oh, I love Hiragi sitting next to him there. Yeah. They said TOOKANYA. Yeah. 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 What does that mean? Yeah, what does that mean? Okay. Did Natori get a haircut too? His hair looks different. Oh. I mean, aren't they all? There we go. Aw. Manju! Ah, I just love Hiragi playing with Madara. That's so cute. Talk about this. I love this with Natori. Setting up some boundaries. Oh! So cute. Oh. Oh. Every time I hear about a new Exorcist clan, I'm like, are they related to Natsume? Secretly? Oh ho ho ho. Oh. Okay. Oh, but he didn't say his name. Oh. Oh my god. The round cat's mine. Ah! Oh my god. I love it. He's very handsome, this friend. Ooh. Quite the host. Oh. Ooh. Mm-hmm. A familiar. No, it's a freeloader! Oh my god. This guy's really cute. I like him. Oh. How'd you break your arm? Okay. Oh. Oh. What? Oh. But if they're not scared? Oh. Okay. Yeah. Oh, well that could easily happen without them really knowing what was going on. Basically. But yeah. Mm. Huh, yeah. Oh. Oh. Oh, wow. Funny that. Is the person in this house? Yeah. Oh. Uh-huh. Ooh. Hmm. Uh-huh. Hmm. Interesting. So, there's a lot to talk about with this episode. Oh. A barbaric exorcist like you. Ooh. Ooh. Oh. Oh. childhood friends. I mean, interesting. Give me the manju! Ha! Get lost! Oh. Oh, bitch. Oh, bitch, you better let us know. Damn it. Don't be telling people about it, Natori! But she'll do it because I'm cute, right? Damn it, dead end. Oh. Huh. Interesting. Interesting. I wonder what the connection is. Oh. And that's the game. Okay, so he knows. Okay, so one more night. One more night. Okay. Oh. Okay, cool. With the filming. And she was like, oh, I'm sure. Go ahead. Oh. Oh, wow. Oh. Oh. Huh. Oh, this is like a whole thing of world building that we just discovered all this. What? So there are half yokai out there. What's happening? What? 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 Oh. Oh my god. Oh. Oh. Oh shit. Oh my god. Oh my god. Ha! 10 of them on the 10th night. Oh my god. Oh, nice. Oh, nice. Love it. I love her using her hair. That was great. Oh. 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 Love it. Huh? Oh my gosh. Who's watching the man? Oh. Oh, wow. Huh. Never mind. Back to the fields we go. How strange. Hmm. Madara's like, how do you know? Hmm. It is different, though. Aw. Oh. Ah. Right? Huh. Huh. Interesting. Aw. Natori's like, oh, well, oh, I didn't want to have to do that and come back, but okay. I'll do my best. Hmm. Uh-huh. Mm. Ha! The manju! Don't you owe me? Oh no. Hmm. I'm glad that Natori told Natsume that that's his goal. I'm glad they've shared that with one another now so that they know because that feels important, but like okay. All right. Hmm. Yeah, we have a lot to talk about. also want to point out, well, no, I was going to say Kishimoto and Tanema have the same bag that Reiko did. Damn it. That took away part of my theories. Well, okay. All right. We need to talk about this, y'all. I don't think Natsume ever has any that are like additional scenes. I don't think so anyway. Okay. Well, yeah, we do have quite a bit to talk about, don't we? I love any time we have a Natori episode. I love anytime we have a Natori episode. Natori episodes are so much fun. I absolutely love them. So yeah, this episode was really good. What a nice little self-contained story. It wasn't anything that was like, oh, we're gonna have a cliffhanger. No, it was like a one night, but y'all, they are teasing the snot out of us with Reiko and Natsume's grandpa. They are teasing us. They are going to reveal something this season about Natsume's grandpa. They have to at this point because they are teasing the dickens out of this. And I was like, that Yoshiyama guy, I was like, does he know anything? And then he doesn't. I'm like, also, we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about Natori and everything. But so yeah. So I like the idea that we start out the episode with the mid-ranks and they're leading Natsume up the road to go check out the new manju store, being like, hey, there's a new sweet shop. Let's go. I like Natsume's just chilling with the yokai, having a good time, which the mid-ranks are pretty harmless, right? And they're like, oh, is it chestnut or sweet potato? We just can't sweep it until we know for sure. And of course, I love that Madara's like, let's go. We have to do our research, as the mid-ranks would say. So they dragged him uptown further than they usually go. The beginning of this episode, it felt like the start of a manga chapter. Like, I can tell this is from the manga because of the way that it's designed. Because the manga does, from reading like 17 volumes of it by this point, the manga likes to start a lot of chapters with, I was on my way doing this, more so than I usually do. So this felt like the beginning of a chapter, and it was Natsume like going uptown with the mid-ranks. But then what's interesting is that you see these people pass by and he's like, well, where are we? And then as they go by, he notices that the people aren't exactly people. Instead, they're yokai. And so they seemed like people, but then they weren't. So they were kind of disguised, which is unusual. I'm surprised they didn't talk about the fact the yokai were disguised. I'm surprised they didn't talk about that. So the mid-ranks are like, they're yokai. They're scarecrows. They probably are going to go in the mountains since it's not harvest season anymore. And Natsume's like, that feels weird. So then he has the dream of them going to the mansion and having the sickle when they go in. And he got freaked out by that. Poor Madara gets slammed across the room. And he's like, we have to go back and see what's up. I do like Madara is getting a lot easier to be manipulated, where Natsume is like, come on, if you come help me, I'll get you a manju. And Madara's like, no. He's like, I'll get you two. And he's like, fine. I'm like, Madara, you are getting easier to manipulate. Easier to manipulate. Madara had some really cute moments in this. So he gets to the mansion that is clearly like a well-to-do house from all these fields and everything. And then as he's about to go in, the scarecrow come out and they say TOOKANYA, which means 10 nights. So I think it's interesting that the yokai, again, this is a really good episode to point out that the yokai are not inherently evil or out to hurt people. They're just yokai. They play tricks and they play games and they like playing games. And so sometimes they stumble across humans and play a game with them without the human being entirely aware, right? Which is why Reiko's so well known amongst the yokai, because she played a game. She played games with the yokai and they all remembered that and they played back. So, I mean, Reiko was just kind of going along with the yokai as well. So that's interesting. But yes, they leave. I liked the one yokai had the like drawing on his face, which was kind of funny. And then, now, here's the thing. Madara, if you paid attention, Madara wanted Natsume to follow the scarecrows. And Natsume's like, well, I'm worried if the person inside is safe. Normally, would Madara care about a bunch of weakling yokai? No. But I think Madara wanted Natsume to follow the scarecrows so that he wouldn't still be around when Natori showed up, is what I think. Because right after all this goes down, Natori shows up, and that's when Madara's like, And so then we see Hiragi and Udahime and the other one show up. What a strange place to meet. What are you doing here? And Natsume's like, I was following the scarecrows. And one had a sickle. And he's like, what? The animation of Natori when he was like, a sickle. And he like leans in and he goes, oh, are you getting yourself involved in something again? That animation was so good. They love drawing. The animators love Natori. They love animating him. But I like that Natori is like, now, Natsume, I don't want you getting involved in all this stuff, which is Natori being protective of Natsume, right? Is Natori being protective of Natsume? He's like, I don't want you getting involved. I want you to go have an ordinary life. Natsume's like, not possible. But also, I like that Natori is like, I don't want you involved in the world of The Exorcist because you clearly don't like it. I don't want you involved in it. He's like, are you getting yourself involved? And Natsume's like, look, I just happen to be in the neighborhood. It's not my fault this stuff happens to me. And I think that's something Natori does not keep in mind. Natori would like to just burn the Book of Friends and for Natsume to have a normal life. But Natori should know better than anyone else that Natsume, as long as he can see yokai, he's not going to have a normal life. He's going to run into them. And what's he supposed to do about that? And so he's like, are you here to do an exorcism? And he's like, well, not exactly. He's like, I just came here to check it out. And he says, I don't want to tell an outsider. And Natsume's like, I like that Natsume respects and doesn't argue with him in the moment. And I like that Natori's setting boundaries. Natori's like, you don't want to have part in the exorcist world. And I don't want you to have part in the exorcist world. So you're an outsider. And Natsume's like, then I guess I'll wander around and find out on my own. And then Natori's like, well, actually, I'll tell you because I don't want you to wander around on your own. The owner hasn't been sleeping well lately. I like the one yokai. She has the long black hair, the one of Natori's familiars. I love she does the Madara thing where she has one eye open and one eye looking like, oh, you're going to get the kid involved? Love that. We can't see the other woman what she's looking at because her eyes are constantly covered. He feels something strange inside his own home. As you can see, the family here is pretty influential, so they called me. An exorcist told me about it. And Natsume's like, well, it feels like something is strange inside the house. He's like, what'd you see, Natsume? Okay, can we talk about real quick while he's questioning Natsume? We see Madara, and Madara's playing with the little cat toy, and Hiragi's like crouched down beside him. Precious. Freaking precious. I love it. He's like, yokai that look like scarecrows. So he's like, did you notice anything? He said they were mumbling TOOKANYA. And he's like, well, it could be the night on the 10th or the 13th day of the month. I've heard that word used during harvest festivals. When he says no, wait, I want to point out Natori has amazing hair in this. Like, Natsume and Natori got haircuts for season 7, and I kind of love it. He's like, it's probably something else. He's like, I know someone around here who can see yokai, actually. He's an oddball, but very smart. You should come too. And he's like, oh, can I? He's like, at this point, I'm more worried about you running out on your own. I feel like at this point, Natori's like, look, I don't want to involve you because it's technically an exorcist thing and you don't want to be involved in the exorcist. But if I don't bring you with me, you're going to go off and do your own thing. And that might be worse. That might be more dangerous. So he's like, come on. And I love that Madara's like, the manju, Natsume, the manju. And Natsume's like, oh, we'll get some on our way back. And then it was closed. I feel for Madara because I had that happen last year. We went to a tournament, and the night before when we got to the hotel, we had told the students, we're like, oh, they saw this sweet shop, and they're like, oh, we want to get these sweets. And we're like, no, we need to go check into the hotel. We'll stop by on the way home after the tournament. And they were like, okay. Well, unfortunately, we didn't realize that was a Sunday, and the restaurant, the bakery, wasn't open on that day. So when they came back through, they're like, but the bakery, and we were like, it's closed. So we ended up making up for it later. We took them somewhere else later to make up for it. But I remember they were like, Madara, they were like, but the manju. And we were like, So we began to look into the strange scarecrows. So he lives pretty deep in the forest. And then Madara's like, what is this forest? It feels creepy. I love Madara just fidgeting. Like, it was super cute. Now, does Yoshiyama have any ties to Natsume's backstory? His family backstory? We don't know. But something might be up with it. He's like, it feels creepy. And he's like, Hiragi, are you okay? And she says, yes. So there's a bit of a barrier here. It's like the Hakozaki household. This is the Yorishima clan. They were once exorcists powerful enough to rival the Motoba clan. And Natsume's like, oh, that's pretty powerful then. But they've given up exorcism and hidden themselves in the forest. But they still have power. So I do like the fact, look, I am obsessed with Natsume's grandpa now and his relationship with Reiko. I'm so obsessed with knowing more about it. And the mangaka is keeping information from us, and that's mean. And I wish that she wouldn't do that, but especially because it's 7 seasons in, right? But with that being said, I do like the fact that not everybody in this series is related. So the Yoshiyama clan or whatever, the Yorishima clan, they are a powerful group of would-be previous exorcists that just know of people with power and can identify with it and competed against the Motobas. So that's interesting. So then we have, hey, exorcist, and we have him. What do you think you're doing trespassing on my land? So we find out that this guy lost his arm to a yokai, and it's been replaced by like a fake arm, right? And he has it bandaged up. Yorishima-san. He's very handsome. I love his green eyes. They don't look quite yokai-ish, but they look a little yokai-ish. Also, I like his pale blonde hair. It's really pretty. He's like, I don't have anything to say to an exorcist. Get out of here, Natori. But then he sees Natsume. And Natsume has a strong power to him. He can see yokai. He's like, what's with this person? Something's odd about him. So he has a yokai. We're going to talk about him and the yokai being one and the same in a sense. And the lore that opened up from that. Oh my gosh. So yeah, he's like, something's odd about him. And then he's like, take us to your house already. I like that Madara's just like, Madara, I bet, knows that he's got some yokai in him, because that's why he says it out of nowhere. He's like, this guy's probably met a yokai before, so this won't be weird. He's like, take us to your house already. You need to ensure your guests receive tea immediately. I love it. I love it. He's like, oh, that cat's mine. I love it. That round cat is mine. He's like, what? Nani? Neko, and he's like, I'm Nyanko-sensei. I just love Madara being like, I'm going to be in your space. I hope that's okay. That's so funny. I like that he yells at Natori because of it, which is even funnier. Also, what a house guest. Serves some matcha tea, serves a nice little cake. A delicatessen indeed. So he's like, this is your fault. Just drink your tea and go. But he keeps looking over at Natsume like he should know him. We're going to talk about this. You have a strange presence about you. You seem to be strong. And Natsume's like, yeah, is that ball-like beast you're familiar? He's like, no, he's a freeloader. He's just mooching. I'm his bodyguard. God, I love Nyanko-sensei. He needs someone to look after him. So this part's interesting. They talk about the scarecrows. He's like, TOOKANYA is a type of game held between yokai and humans. So he's like, it means 10 complete nights. The object of this game is that the yokai finds a dwelling that at once challenges the residents. If the residents leave, they get the house. If the residents stay, then they get them a bunch of wealth. Which, in all fairness, that does seem like a fair trade. You get a bunch of riches if you can, not get scared if a single person stays behind. I mean, that seems fair. That's how the game works. And Natsume's like, okay, a game between yokai and humans. And he's thinking more about Reiko, being like, Reiko was essentially doing the same thing. Now, he says, so did the person who lives there accept the game? Is that how it works? Because with the Book of Friends, the yokai had to accept the challenge to fight Reiko, and then they lost. He's like, well, I'm not sure. The battle begins if the yokai calls the resident's name and someone answers yes. Now, what's interesting is that Yorishima says here that and Natori says the yokai could trick them, basically. But Natsume's like, humans don't understand how yokai think. So Natori's the one that suggests that the yokai are tricking humans to play the game. But Natsume is thinking, well, no, the yokai just call out and it's like Marco Polo and If you answer, that must mean you want to play. Like they treat humans how they treat themselves, but humans aren't used to that, so they think it's trickery. And I love Madara just smacking his tail like, yeah, Natori doesn't know what he's talking about in this scene here. It's really funny. They make a contract with them by chance and find themselves connected without realizing it. AKA the Book of Friends. Same deal. I love it. So then Natsume's like, well, let me ask another question. Are there scarecrow yokai? Something seemed different about them compared to the yokai I see in the mountains or forests. And he's like, oh, well, they could have been made using forbidden magic. So Natsume finds out that somebody in the Amahisa clan or somebody in the family used a forbidden spell and turned the scarecrows into yokai, which allowed them to be different than regular yokai. And then again, Natsume thinks back to the forbidden magic in the Book of Friends. Reiko probably did the same thing. It was a game she came up with one day, but it possessed a strange power. The big ones are binding a soul, creating a vessel for a new soul to dwell in. Those aren't things humans should be doing. To be fair, I don't think creating yokai is a fair thing to do. But I want to point out something very distinct that's interesting about all of this, right? So they talk about how it's forbidden for them to create these yokai out of objects and for use of the force and everything, which I agree. You shouldn't be creating artificial yokai. Fair enough. The thing is, Matoba's clan does the exact same thing. The Exorcists have created artificial yokai, and the Matoba clan is front and center in that. So that's not forbidden. That's not forbidden, but if you're not the Matobas, it is forbidden. It just feels a little bit hypocritical, if you ask me. Feels like there's a little bit of hypocrisy there. And they talk about where the scarecrows go because they have no place to go. And Natsume's like they have nowhere else to go, which again is why they're trying to find a place to stay. And I feel like Natsume empathizes with the yokai because he's like, I had nowhere to go, so I just wandered. So he knows all too well what that's like. I love Yorishima's design, by the way. His design is amazing. He's super handsome. Green eyes, blonde hair. Love it. His heart. But Yorishima is looking over at Natsume being like, his heart is being pulled towards the yokai. And I'm like, Yorishima, I think you're a little late on that one. But the thing is, Natsume is not being pulled towards the yokai. Natsume is very much a middleman. He sympathizes both with humans and with yokai. So you can't say he's being pulled one way or another. We're on season 7, sir. You need to catch up. And I like that he calls Natori a barbaric exorcist. I like he calls him a barbaric exorcist, which I get what he's saying about the barbarism, that Natori is very much like meat and potatoes, where there's not a lot of finesse with Natori. He's just like, this is how it is, even though he as a person has a lot of finesse. But Natori's like, what? No. He's like, you're right. I probably shouldn't be around him. But he's like, I know. He's like, you're starting to sound like that Matoba kid. Now, I think Yorishima was saying, you know, Matoba likes being around powerful people and using them. And so Yorishima's like, hey, this kid's dangerous and kind of strong. Are you being reckless like Matoba and just being around him to use him? And I love that Natsume stood up, because to Natsume, that is an insult. Saying you're like Matoba is an insult. And Natsume's like, oh, no. They are not the same person. Matoba has his way of doing things. Natori-san has his way of doing things. He's like, sometimes I don't agree with his methods, but still I respect the way he tries his hardest to help others. And I think that's why at the very end, when Natori was like, I want to find a way to free you from the Book of Friends, I think Natsume is like, look, you and me both, but I appreciate and respect that you're trying your hardest to help me. I don't agree with some of your methods in helping me, but I appreciate it. Like, I feel like that was at the end, Natsume kind of just acknowledging Natori in that sense. It's sweet. And then he's like, sorry, I didn't mean to insult your friend. And Natsume's like, oh, friend, oh, I'm sorry. And I'm like, don't apologize back, Natsume. You stood up to your friend. Like, embrace that. Embrace the fact that you stood up for Natori. That's awesome. And I like Natori just being like, Now he tells Natori, Yorishima says, get lost, never come back. He's so tsundere. And he's like, sure. He's like, that child is certainly strange. It's like I know him, but I don't. I wonder if the yokai in his arm knows Reiko, and that's why he's responding that way. Or knows Natsume's grandfather, and that's why he's responding that way. There's a lot of presences from him. Perhaps something strange possesses him, or he possesses something strange. Oh, well, it could be the Book of Friends. It could be because he has the Book of Friends on him. It could be that the yokai that's connected to Yorishima is sensing the Book of Friends and the presences within it. That could very well be. Now, I'm not a fan of Natori being like, I think it's fine Natori asking if he's heard of Reiko, Natsume Reiko, and Yorishima's like, no, I've not heard of them. He's like, what are you investigating? And he's like, have you heard of anything called the Book of Friends? He's like, well, it's something quite important. I don't like the fact that Natori is just telling random people about the Book of Friends. I don't like that. I'm like, Natori, you should not just tell random people about this. You're going to get Natsume attacked by one of those people for said Book of Friends. But I feel like he trusts Yorishima, and that's the only reason he tells him. I don't know. He's like, tell me if you hear something. So then, Madara says, I didn't like the air in that place at all. So that's interesting. The barrier there. He's like, it felt calming to me. And he's like, no. He's like, how are you so dense? I wonder why Madara acted that way, but not Hiragi and the others. What was that strange feeling? So, he's like, we know the situation now. Are you up for what comes next? And he says, yes. And so they go in and everything. Where was he going to ask about Yorishima? So they go talk to Amahisa. And he talks about how when he takes naps, he's had the nightmares. And they find out they're on the 10th night. So they just got to last through tonight, and then they'll be okay. All right. So we had Natori-tan. I like that he calls Toko to tell her that he's not coming home. He's staying overnight with Natori to help filming. Like, what is Natsume going to do to help with filming? But Toko's probably like, stay with your friends. Have fun. I just think it's funny that because Natori is a hot celebrity, Toko's like, you just stay with him as long as you want. I also like that Natori talked to her on the phone and she was probably like, yes, do whatever you want, sir. Really funny. So, while they're out there getting everything ready, I love Madara's just drawing the squid and the manju in the dirt. It's cute. He's like, you were a huge help thanks to you. He's like, are you being sarcastic? He's like, Yorishima is never that talkative. And so Natsume's like, he's a strange person, but scary, but like an old memory. It's like when I talk to a yokai. And I love Natori says, you're not far off. He's quite old, even if he doesn't look it. Rumor says he's half yokai. Now, half yokai, we just opened up a whole can of worms. We just opened up a whole can of worms in the lore. Because Madara is like, he has yokai blood in him. How? What? Excuse me? How does one get yokai blood in them? How does one become related to a yokai? Is this what happened to Reiko? Was this immaculate conception? What? Mangaka, you just can't in the 7th season pull lore like this out and just drop it in our laps and it be a thing. Excuse me? What? And so Madara asks that question. He says, no, something about how a yokai ate his left arm, which was the one in the sling, ate his left arm, but it came back the next day. So the story goes, the yokai became his left arm and is possessing him. And when you talk to those involved with yokai, the things that worry you seem so small. So maybe maybe his body is possessed by yokai. Who knows? Who knows? I definitely feel, again, I feel very sad. He's like, small or not, they can still bring pain. And fear as well. And that's when the little gecko runs up his hand. I feel bad because I don't think the gecko is malicious, but I feel bad that Natori wants to get rid of it when it's part of him. So I wish we knew what it was. Maybe we'll find out one day. But anyway, so they do the stakeout. They have the barrier. And then the scarecrows all come in, and they basically just go around and just root out the scarecrows one by one. And then I like that at the very end, the old man chases out the last one. I loved the barrier. Honestly, I thought it was super cute. I almost want to make the screenshot, the one where the scarecrow is coming out of the one barrier and Natsume's like running away from it. I really like that shot. It looks really good. But yeah, they scare all of them out. It's super cute. I love the little summons that Natori does to like basically boot the scarecrows out of the mansion space. And then the old man comes out in the broom. He sends it away himself, which I like. I like the idea of the human that can't, see yokai normally sends the last one away, saying, no, you can't have this house. And then the scarecrows all leave. And thus ends the strange game between us. Now, Madara, interestingly enough, is like, should we go after and look for them? And Natori is the one that says, no, we'll be good. I assume so. We assume so. They won't be able to do anything for a while. And then Natsume goes back to that concept of forbidden magic that was done by chance, not intentionally. AKA, as far as we know about the Book of Friends. Those scarecrows. So they say goodbye to Mr. Arasawa and all of that. And he's like, I've lived a long life, but I guess there are still strange things left to see. I mean, between that movie and with Mukuo and everything and this, I agree. I feel bad that his wife's died, though. That's really sad. The Fields have always supported our family. If the fortune those scarecrows are said to bring really comes, I'll give it to you, so please release them, Exorcist. He's like, I'll do my best. I like Natori's like, I'm not going to hunt down those scarecrows, though. And Natsume questions whether he can do it or not, and he's like, I don't know. I told you before, right? It's easier to defeat a yokai than break a contract or undo a spell. Yeah, so I mean, he may not be able to break the spell that the yokai have been created with. And he says, someday I'll find a way to release you from this book of friends. I don't know, though. I get what Natori means by that. Natori doesn't want Natsume to have the book of friends, but I still think that Natsume kind of takes pride in it because it's a connection to him and his grandmother, and he's learning about his grandmother through it. But I think Natsume smiles at the end there because he realizes what Natori is trying to do is help him, right? Matoba, if it were Matoba in this situation, Matoba would not be helping Natsume. He would be trying to take the book for himself and use it to control the yokai. That's what Matoba would do, because that seems like the efficient, logical thing to do. Whereas Natori is different from Matoba, and he's trying to find a way to help Natsume overcome his use of that book, or the feeling that he needs to use said book. And I like that Madara's like, don't you owe me? We gotta go get Manju. And Natsume's like, oh, well, the story's not, or Natori says the story isn't open yet. And Madara's like, are you freaking kidding me? I love it. I love it. Yes. So yeah, this episode was super, super contained, super cute. I love any chance that we get to have Natori in an episode because Natori and Natsume bounce so well off of each other. And I do appreciate now Natori is, it's kind of funny. Natori is having his season 5 evolution that Natsume had. Natori is having his evolution where he's like, okay, what do we do about this book of friends? But he's openly communicating with Natsume and saying, hey, I don't like that you have the book of friends. I want to get rid of it. But also I respect you as a person. Thanks for standing up to me. And we'll figure it out together. And that's so sweet. I love that. And Madara's warming up to Natori too, which is fun. Which is super cute. So this episode had a lot of adorable moments. I loved all the stuff with Madara. Him being like a cat. Super adorable. Natori... These animators love him because he looks amazing in this episode, as he does. I mean, it's been... People watching this episode would have had to wait like 7 years before they saw Natori back again. And we've got it in episode 3, y'all. In episode 3. Now, Matoba's in that damn OP, so you know he's showing up this season. It's only a matter of when. I swear if Matoba gets that stupid book of friends, I'm going to be so mad. But I don't think he will, but... This show's such a tease. Such a tease. Anyway... I'm super excited to see what we get with this season. I'm also super excited to hear your thoughts down below and what y'all thought about this episode. But anyway, I'm excited. So I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe. Take care. And yeah, I'll be back. This season's going to go by so fast and I'm not ready for it. But we'll be back very soon with episode 4 of season 7 of Natsume's Book of Friends. Bye.